Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week and I hope you're looking forward to an awesome weekend. Welcome Anna, hi Fuang. Nice to see many students in the class. Students, this is an IELTS reading class. And it is on the topic of jellyfish. Now this class is for YouTube members, so let me just put that setting on. If you would like to join the chat in this class, you do need to be a member of the class of YouTube, of this channel. We will have an all chat class for listening coming up in about 2 hours, and everybody will be able to join that chat. Everyone, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes and have all of our materials. Academic looks like this, and you can click this big red button that's just above my head to join the premium version. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. We help thousands of students every month to pass their IELTS tests. Click that button, use the code AI4U to get an extra 10% discount. And you're good to go. For the general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background, and again you can click that big red button. It is a one-time payment. It does not cost much, and it will help you to save money and time so you don't have to sit the IELTS exam 2-3 times. Welcome Carolina. Hi Romelia. Nice to see our chat moderators here as well. We'll come back to these websites several times today for reading and listening. Today's reading passage looks like this. This is reading passage 3 from your third exam. And the topic is Physalia physalis, which looks kind of scary and strange at first, especially with this weird looking jellyfish like creature that's right here, but it's not. So students, in the academic IELTS, some of the reading passages introduce topics that would be new for even a native speaker. Of course, you're taking the exam to go to university where you will see lots of new topics, but don't be scared. Just focus on what you need to do. Read, understand, and answer questions. Okay? So we'll look at this reading passage briefly in just a few moments, and we'll also do a read along. A little bit more about today's class that's important. So premium students, I will be sending you your premium student links today. Everybody, for those of you who are thinking, hey, maybe I'll join this course, you get 2 90-minute premium student Zoom classes each week when you join at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. So all the more reasons to become students. And if you're curious about what those classes might look like, then you can check out this long playlist URL that's here. There you go. All right, the apps are Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. The apps link to the website, so you can get the apps in your app stores. Instagram is IELTS_AEhelp and GIELTS Help. And if you have questions, you can always send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. All right, so again today it's reading followed by listening. Listening, we'll be focusing on part 3 and 4. We did part 1 and 2 last week. If you missed that class, no problem. You can review it on YouTube. Yeah. Anita says, sir, I have a question. Matching heading questions also have sometimes wrong info. So what if we don't read them before reading each paragraph? Yeah, that's one of the interesting questions, Anahita. I think reading matching headings is still okay, even if some of the information is a bit misleading, just because they still give you the topics of each paragraph in there, and I think that's very good to help you understand the text. So the IELTS examiners give you list of headings before the passage because they want you to read it before the passage, and I think it is a good idea. It's the one exception to the rule, and we'll talk about that in a bit. This reading passage does not have list of headings, but for list of headings, you should read them before the passage. Students, tomorrow we'll do speaking part 2 for YouTube subscribers. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's free. You get lots of great free content to help you pass the exam, and you get notifications of these live classes, video releases. So just click the subscribe button if you're learning for the IELTS. It makes sense. Speaking part 3 will be tomorrow also. That will be an all chat class, and then we'll have a premium Zoom class on Sunday. New schedule coming July 2nd. Pay attention, everyone. Very important. So let me do that in beautiful pink. There will be class on the 2nd and 3rd on YouTube for reading and speaking. And on the 4th and 5th, we'll have premium student Zoom classes. Okay. We will continue releasing new videos regularly. This one is the one we just released recently. It's a video that teaches you how to use AI to prepare for the IELTS exam, like Quillbot, Grammarly, ChatGPT, Bard, and all of the other lovely AI software out there. So check that out. Okay, let's get into the class. So it's IELTS reading strategies. Students, there are lots of important strategies for the reading. Okay. Strategy number 1 is be an active reader. Do not be a candidate that forgets what they read after reading it. Okay. So this means visualize. See the text. Involve yourself in the information. I'll give you an idea of what I mean. So here we have this Physalia physalis, and clearly we can see that, you know, this is some kind of a jellyfish, right? Most of us are familiar with these so-called jellyfish, right? So how can you involve yourself? What can you do to help you be active with this reading? How can you visualize this content so that your brain really pays attention to the information? Well, you could imagine that you're this scuba diver. You have some nice big fins on your feet. You're scuba diving, and you come upon this giant jellyfish. Hello, friend. Let's put a scuba tank on you. All right. So there you are. We'll give you some fingers. You're scuba diving. You want to touch it, but maybe not a good idea. This jellyfish could be potentially deadly or poisonous. Do a little skull and crossbones here to make sure that you are reading the warning sign on this jellyfish that, hey, maybe not such a good idea to play with this jellyfish. Miles says you can imagine that you're a marine biologist. Absolutely. Okay, so what's important, everybody, is that you're not boring yourself on the IELTS exam. And I know that's strange to say because most candidates are really excited and nervous, but that nervousness and that excitement for the IELTS exam is more to do with the marks and passing the exam. It's not about the actual information. And too many times IELTS candidates disconnect themselves from the information. They think, oh, jellyfish, I don't care about jellyfish. So they don't really pay attention. So you have to visualize, you have to make yourself a part of this content. Okay. All right. So don't skim and scan only. It's not an effective method. Skimming, scanning for answers is okay, but it's only effective when you actually read the content. You can't just guess answers and hope to get a 6.5 or a 7. Okay, and anybody who teaches you that is just being silly, because if they were on the IELTS exam and they wanted to get a high band score like a 7, 8, or 9, they wouldn't be skim reading. They would be reading the text. Okay, so if you can't read the whole text in 10 minutes and you think there's not enough time to read it, then you should really be focusing on improving your speed and your comprehension before you sit the IELTS test. You should not sit the IELTS exam, especially the academic, if you can't read the text in 10 minutes and understand at least 60-70%. Okay? If you're doing that, in my honest opinion, you're just wasting your money. Okay? All right. So let's do this. We're going to read this text together with the audio from our website, and then I'll give students a chance to read and answer the questions, and we'll talk strategy while we're doing this. Okay, so we'll go back to the website here, and again, for those of you who are like, what's this? This is our academic IELTS website. We have lots of practice exams, videos, interactive courses for you here. You can click that big red button to join the premium version of our course. Once you do that, then you have your My Student account where you have tons and tons of goodies. You've got your computer-based practice exams. You've got a full online academic course. You've got exam books, workbooks, study plans, lesson videos. So you've got lots and lots. And then you've got this student partner speaking and speaking interview practice. Okay, and you've got these audio CDs. So in the audio CDs here, this is going to be CD 3, and because it's passage 3, it's going to be audio number 7. So I'm going to play it. Let's read it together. Okay, don't just listen. It's not just listening. We have a listening class coming up after this one. This is also reading, so make sure to read. Okay, here we go, everybody.
Physalia physalis. Physalia physalis, common name, Portuguese man of war, is a unique species of the class Hydrozoa. Several characteristics distinguish this species. The Physalia physalis is a free-floating communal polyp. Its powerful poison serves as defense and attack for the species. One type of fish, however, has developed a high level of immunity to this toxin, the Nomius gronvoi. The Nomius gronvoi is capable of withstanding injections of Physalia venom 10 times the normal strength of that which kills other fishes. Due to this resistance to the venom and exceptional swimming, the two organisms have evolved to form a commensal relationship with one another. Even though we apply the term commensalism to the symbiosis between these two animals, the nature of interaction is not exactly fitting of the term. As defined by Campbell and Rees, commensalism is when one organism receives benefits while neither harming nor helping the other in any significant way. Campbell and Rees, 2002. By looking closely at the behaviour, physiology and symbiosis between Physalia physalis and Nomius gronvoi, we find out the reason for this misleading terminology. The physiology of Physalia physalis is unique. At first glance, they appear to be jellyfish, but the Portuguese man of war is actually a polyp, or community of polyps belonging to the order Siphonophora, which gets its common name from its resemblance to an old Portuguese warship.
The
The man-of-war floats with a gas-filled blue to pink translucent body called a pneumatophore, a part of a single polyp. This crest-like pneumatophore, which may attain a length of 20 centimetres, acts as a sail and is aligned so that the colony sails at 45 degrees to the wind direction. Polyps connect tentacles which are located on the ventral surface of the float. There are 3 types of specialised polyps: dactylozoid, that find and catch prey with poisonous stingers called nematocysts, gonozoids, that reproduce, and gastrozoids, that digest the food like a stomach. These fishing tentacles, sometimes as long as 50 metres, hang down like a drift net, combing the water for prey. Nomius gromvi are tropical fish belonging to the ray-finned fishes of the class Osteichthyes. The fins, supported by long flexible rays, are modified for manoeuvring, defence and other functions. The length of this fish at maturity is about 8 centimetres. The nature of the ability of Nomius to live among the venomous tentacles of Physalia has been likened to that of the relationship between sea anemones and anemone fishes. This immunity is not yet fully understood. The relationship between Physalia and Nomius is arguably harmful to both organisms. They mutually benefit from one another, but at the same time, the symbiosis can be quite damaging to both creatures. In this sense, the relationship could be better defined as one of mutualism and parasitism. In mutualism, both organisms benefit. In parasitism, one organism benefits at the expense of the host. When the Nomius is weak, it may no longer be able to withstand the venom of the nematocysts. In one study, a freshly expired Nomius was offered to the Physalia. The carcass was immediately stung, taken hold of by a dactylozoid, and brought up to the gastrozoids. The Nomius, although resilient to the toxin, is not 100% immune. In the same study, the live Nomius began to swim more erratically and move towards the carcass as the gastrozoids formed their characteristic bag and began to digest the fish. The live Nomius was then caught on the left side by one of the largest dactylozoids. This behaviour clearly indicates how the symbiosis may deviate from the definition provided by commensalism. On the other hand, the Nomius has 2 distinct gains from its innate behaviour with Physalia. As an experiment demonstrated, upon introduction, the Nomius initially swam near the surface and around the Physalia in a large circular pattern, in both clockwise and counterclockwise directions. This action protects the fish from attack. Most predatory fishes of Nomius therefore avoid the man-of-war or sustain serious injury and often death. Second, the Physalia provides a food source for the Nomius. In the mentioned experiment, about 15 minutes after the release, the Nomius swam closer to the Physalia, paused as if inspecting it, and then began to nip the edges of the gonozoids. Physalia is able to regenerate the tentacles, and so this ingestion is rarely fatal to the organism. Nomius's capacity to survive near the poisoned tentacles of the man-of-war is only partly due to the resilience of the toxin. The main reason for this skill is certain swimming behaviours. Instead of developing protective mucus, the fish depends on its swimming abilities as its main mechanism of defence, while living in the venomous discharge of the Physalia. The Nomius fish can manoeuvre with precision to avoid stinging nematocysts. This is the case whether the Physalia is stationary or in motion. Ray-finned fishes have a physiology which enables manoeuvrability. The fish displays relative ease in maintaining a safe distance from the dactylozoids, even with absurd, sharp changes in direction. Nomius specimens use the pectoral fins for propulsion, while the pelvic fins are spread like a fan. The caudal fin is apparently used only for short, fast darts. This swimming behaviour appears to be well suited for existence with Physalia. It is therefore apparent that rather than developing an ability to inhibit the discharge of Physalia nematocysts or prevent them from stinging, Nomius uses its swimming abilities as its primary means of defence while living in the venomous drift net of Physalia. Taking into consideration all of the interactions involved in the symbiotic relationship of these two organisms, the appropriate term to assign is difficult. The facts state that commensalism of these two aquatic creatures is one which incorporates beneficial as well as harmful factors depending on the circumstance. It is this alternation of prey-predator roles of Physalia and Nomius that creates a definitive difficulty. Perhaps the best term we can apply for the moment is that of commensalism, given that both animals receive some benefit at various times during the relationship.
All right, everybody. So that is the reading audio. Again, make sure to use the audio for the reading passages from the website. They're really helpful to improve your fluency, your comprehension, your coherence. Again, that is available with your premium course when you join, along with all of the other exams that are there. All right, so what I'd like to do now is just get our viewers, especially members, to volunteer to read, and then we'll have just a brief discussion of maybe some challenging vocabulary and some of the content, so you can learn some words and some tips on what to do when you're facing a challenging passage in the IELTS exam. So we'll use this Zoom link, and I'll start up the Zoom session here for everybody. So everyone's welcome to join. Members, I'll be looking for you especially here. So here we go. Let me start the Zoom meeting, and hopefully all of you will join me there. And then we'll read this together. So again, these classes, the goal is not just for you to hear me lecture and give you tips, but for you to really just practice and get a hang of this. Okay. All right, and Dao Duq is already in here, which is great. So while I'm waiting for students to join, in Zoom, the way to interact is through this. It's usually under the more, unless you've got a full screen, then you'll see this kind of reactions type of button, and then you can raise your hand and you can lower your hand with that button. Okay, let me admit your peers. And while everybody's joining up, I will mute everyone just so that we can do this in an organized manner. All right, great. So I think we've got about a dozen or so people in here. Whoever would like to read, just again, raise your hand. We'll go through each of these paragraphs a little bit more carefully, as well as the questions, and then we'll jump right in. So Anahita, can you unmute yourself? I think you were waiting yesterday and didn't really get a chance.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Anahita. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I am doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. All right. Anahita, how is life in Ontario today?
It's still 10 a.m., so I have just started my day.
I see. Okay. Almost, right? Yeah, it's almost 7 here, so I guess so. All right, Anahita, let's do this. So let's read. Now, one interesting step that we did not take before listening to the reading is just looking at the questions. So I'm going to bring the questions up on the screen, and I do recommend students to read questions before the passage that have information which is in the passage. Don't read questions that have extra or false information, except for list of headings questions, Anahita. The reason why is because even when list of headings gives you wrong information, in most cases they're still giving you information that's in the passage. It's just not the list of heading. It's not the topic for the paragraph. It's usually like an example or an explanation. Are you following me there, Anahita?
So you mean that I should just read the example that is given by the matching headings?
So no, when you see the list of headings question, if you have one, we don't have one in this passage, but when you have one, read them all, because usually the information is not false information in list of headings. It's not like true, false, not given, or multiple choice where you actually have false or information that's not even in the text. In list of headings, I don't want to say all of them, but 95% of the time, the answers they give you are in the passage. They're just not necessarily the heading for the paragraph. Are you following me?
I don't understand what you mean.
Okay, so I'll teach you that more when we get to a list of headings question, but list of headings questions don't have false information. They just have information that's not the topic, but instead of a topic, they're a detail or an example, right? Usually. So list of headings questions, when you read them before the passage, will give you a good idea of what you will be reading about, the contents. That's why they give them to you. That's the only question type they give you before the passage, because they want you to read that before the passage. Okay? All right, so anyhow, having said that, Anahita, go ahead and read these questions. Complete the sentences below. Completing sentences are good to read because all of this information will be paraphrased somewhere in the passage, so it will be stated. So go ahead and read these, please, Anahita.
Okay, 27. The Portuguese man of war, something acts as a boat, defends an attack mechanism.
Okay.
28. Nomius has a something to the man of war's attack. 29. Nomius is also a very competent something which helps keep it safe from man of war.
Okay, before you go on, Anahita, what does the word competent mean?
It means very active.
No. Can somebody help Anahita in the chat? Okay, I'm just a sec, Anahita. I'm gonna switch to my headphones instead of my speakers. That's why everybody's hearing an echo. Just a second. All right, can you hear me, Anahita?
Yes.
Okay, I just switched to my headphones.
Oh, the word competent is driven from the word compete, so it means compete with others.
No, not a bad try though. It's more driven from the word of compute.
Okay.
So competent means capable.
Okay.
Able to. That's right, Carolina. Yes. Capable. Able to. Sure. Okay.
But you said it means compute. So compute is, for example, in maths, we compute something.
Yeah, exactly. Which means you're able to solve the question. So when you're computing, it means you're capable of making the calculation to figure out the answer. So it means you're enabling yourself to complete the process. Okay. Yeah. So compute and having an ability is kind of the same. It all comes down to the action of being able to think and do. Okay. 30.
30. Although they initially look like a jellyfish, the man of war is really a something. 31. The role of the something is as a sexual organ. 32. Nomius' ability to live around the poisonous something of the man of war is not fully understood.
Okay, so you read the questions, right? Now, students, when you read questions like Anahita just did, they should definitely not just go in one ear and go out the other. Okay, that's not the goal of reading the questions. And unfortunately, I think that happens a lot, Anahita, where people will read the questions, and as they're reading them, it's literally just going in the eyes and going out the back of the head. What should be happening is you should be thinking about what you're learning about the passage or the information while you're reading this. So just by reading these questions, Anahita, what do you expect the information is about? So you've read 6, I believe, or 5, different, 6, I was right. 6 different pieces of information, and each one gave you a little bit of insight or knowledge on this reading passage. So what did you gain from reading these questions?
It is the relationship between the Nomius and Man of War.
Okay. So the passage is on a relationship between two organisms, right?
Yes.
Okay, what else did you learn?
That and there is something Venomius and the Nomius. No, and the Man of War. And
okay, and everybody who's listening, so everybody in the chat, Anahita's peers, you can also help Anahita here. Okay.
there is something as a sexual organ in the Man of War.
Yep, there's some kind of sexual organ in the Man of War, sure. Okay.
The Man of War has some abilities, some certain ability.
Yeah, there are some unique behaviors to this Man of War and Nomius, yeah.
Sir, sometimes I mix the Man of War with Nomius. I don't know why.
Yeah, you have to visualize. So you have to clearly imagine one versus the other, okay? So you before you know what they are, you have to clearly visualize two different looking jellyfish, or one jellyfish and one fish, or two different looking fish. But you just have to visualize two very different looking organisms so that you can separate those two. Now, you don't have to be too specific either, everyone, Anahita. You can just keep your thoughts more general. So this passage discusses the biology of sea creatures, right?
Yes.
One of these sea creatures is poisonous and sounds dangerous, right? That Man of War, even the name Man of War, it just sounds dangerous. It's poisonous and so on, right? These creatures sound unique and interesting, right? So from reading this, I definitely, even if I don't understand all the words, it sounds like these are some pretty strange sea creatures, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so keep your thoughts simple. You don't have to understand all of the details yet, but you should start to understand some of these more general concepts of, okay, there's a relationship, there's a couple of creatures here, they seem to live in the water or the ocean. One of them seems to be especially dangerous or poisonous. They clearly will talk about the biology of these. So that's what you should be getting from this content, okay? Anahita, can you read 33 to 36 for me as well, please? So here it's completing the ending of sentences or matching the endings. Don't read the options because there you will see extra and wrong information. So just read the first half, which is basically the question half of this type of question. And again, so here, don't overcomplicate. Just start to get simple ideas. Okay, go ahead, Anahita.
The relationship between the two creatures is best described as 34, while the Nomius is resistant to the venom at 35, the Nomius swimming patterns 36, for the Nomius, the Man of the War also serves as.
Okay, good. So having read these 4 statements, you get a little bit more help or insight into what this passage is about. So what do you get? What do you see? You can kind of infer what a Nomius is, right? So what is a Nomius likely? If you're reading this, what do you think a Nomius probably is?
It is a swimming organism.
Yeah, Probably some kind of a fish, right? So
Yeah.
most swimming organisms in the water are usually some kind of a fish. So that's a good guess. So we kind of guess that the Nomius is some kind of a fish here, right? And we get some other information here as well. So it's some kind of a fish, and what else do we think about this organism?
Uh, the the man of war is dangerous to the Nomius,
Mm-hmm.
and there is some relationship between these two organisms, and um,
And the Nomius sounds like a special kind of fish, right? That's able to do some special behaviors or something special. Why it's talking about it, right? So just even that sense of like, okay, this isn't just a common fish. This is some kind of a special fish that has some unique swimming patterns or some kind of a resistance to this venom or poison, right? So that's all that you need to get. You don't need to get a lot of details, okay? All right, and then we have the multiple choice. Now, multiple choice, same idea. You only read the question. You do not read the choices because there's no reason to read choices. In fact, in the computer-based exam, you don't see the choices until you click the drop down in some cases. So it's good. You just read the question. So go ahead and read 37, Anahita.
37, the Nomius main mechanism of defense is
Mm-hmm.
58. Then what does Nomius generally use to propel itself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, a little bit more obviously about this interesting fish. And then 39 to 40, two questions, yes, no, not given, which are fact-based questions. We don't worry about those because maybe they're both not given. So no point in reading them just yet. Okay, Anahita, having said that, can you read the title and the introduction for us, please? So go ahead when you see it.
Physalia physalis. Physalia physalis, common name, Portuguese man of war, is a unique species of the class Hydrozoa. Several characteristics distinguish this species. The Physalia physalis is a free-floating communal polyp. Its powerful poison serves as a defense and attack for the species. One type of fish, however, has developed a high level of immunity to this toxin. The Nomius goronoi is capable of withstanding injection of Physalia venom 10 times than the normal strength of that which kills other fishes. Due to this resistance to the venom and exceptional swimming, the two organisms have evolved to form a commensal relationship with one another. Even though we apply the term commensalism to the symbiosis between these two animals, neither harming
Animals, the nature of
two
interaction.
animals, the nature of interactions is not exactly fitting to the term, as defined by Campbell and Rees. Commensalism is when one organism receives benefit while neither harming nor helping the other in any significant way. By looking closely at the behavior, physiology, and symbiosis between Physalia physalis and Nomius goronoi, we find out the reason for this misleading terminology.
Okay, good. That was really good reading, Anahita. And one really good sign is that when you made a mistake, you realized immediately that you're in the wrong place. And that tells me that you're reading actively. That's a very good sign, everybody. So good job, Anahita. I know that somebody is not reading actively when they just keep reading the wrong information, but you realized right away that, oh, that doesn't make sense. I have to go back and see what's going on within one or two words. And that's a very good sign, Anahita. That means that you're actively reading and your brain is thinking about what you're reading while you're reading it. So fantastic. Anahita, obviously there are some, challenging words in here, like the name of the fish and this jellyfish looking creature. Now, of course, some people are like, what are these, right? Well, of course, if they give you a picture, you see what it is, right? So when they introduce a kind of an interesting topic like Physalia physalis or one of the other topics are supernovae, they usually give you a picture that helps you know what that is, right? So the IELTS, again, it's not this evil cabal that's trying to make your life terrible, but they do present you information the same way that you could see it in college in a textbook or in university, right? So the goal here is just to focus, pay attention to what you know, don't worry about what you don't know, and just keep going. Anahita, thank you so much for reading the questions in the introduction. I appreciate you for that.
Sir, I have a question. You said that I should visualize to not mix the two organisms, but if I don't have any idea of how they look like and I make assumptions how they are, so I will my assumptions will might contradict the passage, and this too will confuse me.
Exactly. Yeah. So keep an open mind. So, you can visualize that each of these are little children. You can visualize that one is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girl, and the other one is a dark-haired, brown-eyed little boy. Okay. Follow with me here. It sounds strange at first, right? And once the passage starts to define these organisms, then visualize that the little girl is wearing a t-shirt with a jellyfish on it, and visualize that the little boy is wearing a t-shirt with a fish on it. And the little boy's name is Nombius, and the little girl's name is Physalia. Are you following me?
Yes.
So it's like imagining that you have two different colored pieces of paper which are blank, and you can add information to those blank pieces of paper, and then that way you're not contradicting what you're reading, but you're evolving or developing what you're reading. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thanks, sir.
That was a really good question. Thanks, Anahita.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. All right. Hopefully everybody caught that. That's, again, a little bite out of psychology for everyone. Okay. Let me get somebody else to read a bit. Phuong, go ahead and unmute yourself. We haven't heard from you in a while.
Hi, sir.
How
are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, Phuong?
Oh, I picked up with the flu a few days ago, so my throat is not good right now, actually.
So you're getting better?
Yes, it's getting better.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're getting better. Are you into summer season now? Or are you still, are you on summer vacation? Or are you still doing university?
My university's schedules still busy, sir. So it's raining cat and dogs these days in Ho Chi Minh City, so I catch up with some flu. Yeah.
So it's raining cats and dogs. You caught a flu. You're studying, and it's probably like 12 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night, and you're still here studying English, right?
Yes. I would love to spend some of my free time to participate in our class. Yeah.
Well, with your attitude, Phuong, I think you're going to be the first president of Vietnam. So that you can remind me I said that when you become elected. Okay. So Phuong, go ahead and read this next paragraph for us. Okay, the physiology.
Okay, sir. The physiology of Physalis is unique. At first glance, they appear to be jellyfish, but the Portuguese means of word is actually a pollen, or communities of pollen belonging to the order Sycomnophora, which gets its common names from its resemblance to an old Portuguese warship. The men of were flowed with the garfish, blue to pink, translucent body called a chromatophore, a part of single polyp. This red like a chromatophore, which may attain the length of 20 cm. As a result, and it lies so that the colony sails at 45 degrees to the wind direction. polykinase tentacle which are located on the ventral surface of the floor. There are three types specialized polyps. There are two dorsals that fly and catch prey with poisonous stinger are called nematodes. Gonosaurs that reproduce and Gartosaurs that eject the fruit/stomach. These species tentacles sometimes as large as 15 meters, hang out like a fish nest combing the water for rain.
Okay, great. All right. Fong, I hear you're coughing and having all sorts of challenges, but I really do hope you get better. I hope that you're drinking some hot tea. Now, before you go, because you're so hardworking, students, when you're reading this kind of information and you have a picture like this, a really good strategy during the IELTS exam is to make a quick diagram. Okay, it only takes a minute, but it can really help you to figure out answers and save marks. So here, this paragraph basically describes what you're looking at here, right, Fuang?
Yes, sir.
So you can literally make a little diagram and you can go, okay, that is the bubble, right? Here we have the different kinds of pieces to it. They talk about three pieces: the ones that reproduce, the ones that digest, and you don't have to be a biologist, they don't have to be exact, but you can just make a diagram and you can connect the information that's below to the biology of what you're actually seeing here. Okay, so don't rush through the text. The right strategy is to actually digest the information. You're like this jellyfish except with English. You're digesting the information. So connect the image to what you're reading, right? That's a very, very important tip. Fuang, thank you so much for reading. I hope you feel better. Drink some honey, lemon, mint tea or something similar, herbal tea, and lots of rest, okay?
Thank you, sir. I will get better soon.
All right. It was nice to hear your voice. Have a lovely rest of your night, Fuang.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Everybody give Fuang a big thumbs up. Studying and working late at night when you've got a cough like that, that's commendable for sure. All right. Anastasia, if you can unmute yourself, please.
Yes. Hello, sir.
How are you, Anastasia?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Clearly, yes.
Okay. Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for asking. How are you? How is yourself?
I am also doing well. Anastasia, what is your opinion of this text so far?
Well, it seems to me that it's very challenging. But it also has some very interesting details. Like, I had never heard of such fish before, and it's very interesting. But at the same time, it's quite grueling. I mean, I think if I had such a text in the IELTS test, I would be a little bit confused.
Fair enough. And one of the questions I get is, really, IELTS has this kind of text? Yes, it does. So for passage 3, you can definitely get a topic that's similar to this. By the way, this is taken from a first-year university biology class. So this text comes from first-year biology in university when students are studying symbiosis. Do you know this word, symbiosis?
Yes.
So if somebody's thinking like this is, master's class in marine biology, no, it's not. That's actually quite a bit more challenging. So this is a first-year university class that explains different concepts of symbiosis. Can you tell everybody, Anastasia, what is symbiosis?
Okay, so from my perspective, it's when two things come together into contact and they impact each other. They have some effect onto each other.
Yeah, and don't use the word things, say organisms.
Okay, organisms.
So when two organisms live with some form of a relationship. Can you give an example of that?
Symbiosis. Well, I can't think of anything from biology, but you can also apply such a term in real life, I guess. But I struggle to find an example.
There are lots. You are living in symbiosis right now, Anastasia. You are not alone, believe it or not. Okay. What do you have inside of you? You're in symbiosis. Humans, most, if not all creatures on Earth have symbiotic relationships. What do you have in your stomach that helps you digest food?
The insides, but what's the name of that? The digestive system?
Yeah, so in the digestive system, you have those tiny little organisms called we often refer to them as digestive bacteria, right?
Bacteria, cells, and
okay, no, not cells. Cells are part of your body. You're not in a symbiosis with your own cells. That's you. But the bacteria that's living in your digestive system that's helping you digest, those are symbiotic to you. They are their own little organisms and they live inside of you. So did you know that, Anastasia, that you have digestive bacteria that live inside of your...
Yes, okay. I did know about that.
Oh, yeah, I want to make sure I'm not going to scare you. Like, oh my God, I have bacteria in me. I figured you knew that. I'm teasing with you. Okay, so digestive bacteria, right, in the human digestive tract. Yeah, we have all kinds. We have mushrooms, yeast, fungus living inside of us that help us. We have organisms on our skin that help clean our skin. That's why it's not good to take 5 showers in a day. So digestive bacteria in the human digestive system is a type of symbiosis. So yeah, so it's an important part of the natural world. Okay. Anastasia, read the next paragraph here, starting with the relationship between physalia.
Mm-hmm. The relationship between physalia and nominus is arguably harmful to both organisms. They mutually benefit from one another, but at the same time, the symbiosis can be quite damaging to both creatures. In this sense, the relationship could be better defined as one of mutualism and parasitism. In mutualism, both organisms benefit. In parasitism, one organism benefits at the expense of the host.
Okay, so what are we learning in this paragraph?
We learn about 2 facts. The one, we see 2 terms, mutualism and parasitism. And this passage gives us 2 definitions of those. Mutualism, it's when organisms benefit from one another, and parasitism, it's when organisms, when a certain organism benefits at the expense of the host.
Okay, good. So this symbiosis that we just talked about, the bacteria in our digestive system, which one is that? Parasitism or mutualism?
When the one benefits?
Well, the bacteria benefits and we also benefit because they help us to digest food and get enzymes into our bodies, right? So which one is that, mutualism or parasitism?
Mutualism.
Absolutely. And even though these words, students, look like they might be challenging at first, they come from common words, or they're derivatives of common words. So mutual meaning together, right? Mutualism, sure. So what would be an example of parasitism coming from the word parasite, right? So what would be a parasitic symbiosis in nature? Can you give me an example of that?
Well, I'd imagine that if a person, for example, caught some sort of an infection, and as a result, he would get some sort of a bacteria inside of him that would affect his well-being, and that bacteria would benefit on the part of the person. So it would be harmful to the person, but to itself, it would be prospering, thriving.
Yeah, like salmonella, if you eat a rotten egg, right? Yeah, salmonella. That would be a parasitism. So, Fuang, if you're listening still, unfortunately, you're an example of a parasitic symbiosis at this time when you're coughing and you're feeling sick. There's a little parasite in there that's feeding off of you. Right, Anastasia? Yeah, and even not just in the animal kingdom, but of course in the world of plants, we see it all the time, like a fungus that's growing on a tree. If it's harming the tree, then that's a parasitic relationship. The fungus is killing the tree. It's basically surviving off the tree. Correct, Anastasia? Yeah. Okay, why am I talking to you about all of this, Anastasia? And this is for everybody. So in the chat as well. So why am I digressing here? So why am I talking about this, Anastasia? Why did I ask you these questions before and after the paragraph?
Well, basically to make sure that we understand the terms and we can apply them in those exercises, multiple choice questions. Basically just to break down the vocabulary and make sure that we understand those terms, because it's essential that we know what they mean.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And to encourage active reading, right? So I can tell, that you have very good English. Like I can tell right away, just the way you're speaking to me, that your speaking skills are off the charts, like band 8, band 9. You sound very natural, fluent, comfortable, accurate grammar. So I'm sure in the speaking section, you'll have no problem getting some nice high band scores as long as you're familiar with, what is required for that expert level of communication. And I'm, in this case, encouraging you to apply your advanced knowledge of English grammar and vocabulary to the critical thought that's required for getting the answers correct in the academic, especially passage 2, passage 3, that are more difficult, by making sure that you're thinking actively about these. So when you read over terms like mutualism and parasitism, you don't just skip over them, but you can immediately visualize what these concepts mean. So you can visualize the friendly little bacteria that are hanging out in your stomach, waiting for that next bite of cheese to come down, so that they can eat from that and help you to get some vitamins and minerals from that, and protein, and help you break down those proteins. And you can also visualize a parasitic relationship where you're swimming in the jungle and there are leeches stuck to your body. Oh no, Anastasia, has that ever happened? Have you ever had a leech stuck to your body?
No, thankfully not. Hopefully I will never get one.
Do you know what a leech is?
A leech is the sort of a thing that lives in the rivers, in large body of water.
Yeah, and they suck on your blood, right? They look like,
and they're black.
Yes, they're usually black. They look like a slug, like a kind of like a snail without a house, and they kind of stick to you. But funnily, we've since discovered that relationship is not purely parasitic. Leeches can actually help you to be healthy as well, which is a conversation for another day. But visualizing that is interesting, and it will get you more interested in this text. So that was really good. Thank you, Anastasia, for volunteering. All right, everybody, give Anastasia a thumbs up. That was really good, and she is definitely very advanced in English. So you combine that with some good critical thinking and you'll have some great scores. Anna, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, hello, Adrian. Thank you for giving me a chance to be a volunteer.
Absolutely. All right, Anna, let's keep going forward and we'll keep reading. So continue on from on the other hand.
Just 1 second, and on the other, can you scroll down a little bit? Text, just on the other hand, the noun also has 2 distinct grains. from its innate behavior with Physalia, as an experiment demonstrated upon introduction. The numerous initially swam near the surface and around the Physalia in a large circular pattern in both clockwise and counterclockwise directions. This action protects the fish from attack. Most predatory fishes of Nomanus therefore avoid the man of war or sustain serious injury and often death. Second, the Physalia provides a food source for the Nomanus. In the mentioned experiment, about 15 minutes after they realized the Nomanus swam closer to Physalia, paused, and if inspecting it, and then began to nip the edges of the gonozolids. Physalia is able to. Can you? I don't see this word because of your chair.
It's coming.
Just.
I appreciate you saying the chair, not my big fat head.
It's able. No. It's chair. It's able to again.
Regenerate.
Physalia is able to regenerate the tentacles, and so this ingestion is rarely fatal to the organism.
Tentacles. Just repeat after me. Tentacles.
Tentacles.
Fatal.
Fatal.
Right, so clearly this text has a lot of, challenging, maybe new vocabulary. This is where the audio in your courseware becomes really useful. So when you find a reading passage that has a lot of new terms and new words, then definitely do the audio reading a few times from the courseware so that you can really become familiar with the pronunciation of these syllables, of these letter combinations. Okay?
Yeah, tentacles, it's like part of the body which octopus has, and this
a lot of creatures have it. A lot of creatures. Squid have it too. Tentacles. Yeah, they're the wavy parts. They're like the arms, right? Tentacles. We've got tentacles. We just call them arms.
Arms. Yeah, and octopus has eight tentacles. It's because octopus is a Latin word which means 8 in translation.
That's right, octo. In Latin and Green, octo meaning 8. Yes.
It's from music, I know. It's not from biology. No, it's from music. Octava.
Absolutely. So Anahita, this is talking obviously about the fish now, right? And the fish's swimming pattern. So we want to visualize this swimming pattern. What does the word nip mean? It's common every day to nip.
To make this tentacles together, like to connect, to link them from one creature to another.
No. Dogs also nip at people sometimes. Anahita says to attack. No, nip. We nip sometimes. Humans nip as well.
Nip to smell?
No, it's not. It's to smell. Sometimes we'll even say to each other, "Stop nipping at me." Nip means.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's a good word to know. That's why I'm encouraging everybody to learn the vocabulary, because sometimes these seem like, I've never heard this word, or it's not, but they're actually a lot of common words, but you might just not be familiar with them yet. Nip means to take a small bite. Take a small bite.
Take a small bite.
Yeah. So when dogs nip, they go.
Yeah.
They do this like kind of little biting.
I understand.
They're nipping. They're nipping. Little children nip at each other. I don't know, people who are in a relationship will nip at each other. And we use this word in a non-literal sense too. So if, for example, let's say that, Anna, that your boyfriend keeps bothering you a little bit, like keeps like saying some words that you don't like, or keeps bothering you, then
to become sharp.
then they're nipping at you. They're not physically nipping at you, but they're nipping at you. They're
Kidding,
kind of
like kidding in sarcastic way.
yes, like they're poking you continuously. Then you can say, "Stop nipping at me." So it's a common expression. Stop nipping at me.
Basically, stop nipping at me. Okay.
Okay.
I'll make some notes here.
Yeah. So learn these. Anna, thank you so much for volunteering today.
Stop you. And how about my pronunciation? Has I improved my pronunciation? Because I'm
It has for words that you know. So when you know the word, your pronunciation's definitely improving. When you're not familiar with the word, no, but that's normal. So again, what's important is that you really just review and practice those new and unfamiliar words, okay?
Yeah, and I'm trying to copy British accent in which words is easy for me, and like
Perfect. That's exactly what you should be doing. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving.
Nope. Thank you, Anna. Sorry, I cut off the rest of that. But I heard you. Okay. Let's take somebody else here. Ayadeji, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
How are you?
Adrian.
Hi, Ayadeji. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. Still morning there also. All right. Ayadeji, you'll see the next paragraph coming to the top. Nomius's capacity to survive. And again, everybody, when you're reading a text like this, so Ayadeji, when you're reading this and there's maybe some tricky words, don't try to pronounce them perfectly. Just read through them. Do your best and continue reading so you don't lose the information. Okay?
Right.
Okay. Whenever you're ready. Nomius's capacity to survive.
Okay. Nomius' capacity to survive near the poison tentacles of the man of war is only partly due to the resilience of the toxin. The main reason for this skill is certain swimming behaviors. Instead of developing protective mucus, the fish depends on its swimming abilities as its main mechanism of defense while living in the venomous discharge of the physalia. The nomius fish can maneuver with precision to avoid stinging nematocytes. This is the case whether the physalia is stationary or in motion. Ray fin fishes have a physiology which enables maneuverability. So the fish displays relative ease in maintaining a safe distance from the dactylozoids, even with absurd, sharp changes in direction. Nomius specimens use the pectoral fins for propulsion, while the pelvic fins are spread like a fan. The caudal fin is apparently used for only short, fast darts. This swimming behavior appears to be well suited for existence with physalia. It is therefore apparent that rather than developing an ability to inhibit the discharge of physalia, nematocytes, or prevent them from stinging, Nomius uses its swimming abilities as its primary means of defense while living in the venomous drift net of physalia.
Great. Long paragraph with one key message. What's that message? What's the point that this paragraph is telling the reader very, very clearly again and again?
It's telling about the behavior of the physalia.
Not quite the physalia. It's more about the nombius, the fish. So it's telling us something very important about this fish. What is it telling us about the fish, nombius?
It's telling about how dangerous the environment could be due to the venom.
Yes, but not for the fish. So for this fish, that venomous environment is not so dangerous. Why not? If you look in the chat, Ideji, some of your classmates will help you. Anahita is giving you a little bit of advice. She was asking me about this question when she was reading the questions.
You're swimming.
Right? So it's telling us that the Nombius is a very competent swimmer, right? So you don't need to understand all of the technical words in here, but you should understand words like maneuverability. Even if you've never heard it in this way, you've probably heard the word maneuver, right? And maneuver appears here and here. The Nombius fish can maneuver, right? And it depends on its swimming abilities. So in these texts, just like in college university texts, they do try to help the reader by giving you the information in various different ways. So here in this paragraph, Ideji, you should have understood that the main goal is to help the reader understand that this fish does not get stung. Basically, it's like Keanu Reeves from The Matrix dodging the bullets from Smith, if you know what I'm talking about. Have you seen The Matrix, Ayadeji?
No, I'm not used to aquatic, something, ocean. I'm not, as in the habitats in the sea. I'm not used to it.
You're not into marine biology. And that is absolutely okay. So again, like I say, and I said before, you don't have to know a lot about marine biology here. All you have to really be able to picture is that there's this kind of jellyfish looking thing, and there's this little fish that can swim around it. So basically, in a very kind of detailed way, this passage is telling you that this fish is very good at swimming around this jellyfish without getting stung. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, that's what you should get from it. All right, Ayadeji, let's finish this up. So I'm going to give you the last paragraph as well. Whenever you're ready, read from taking into consideration.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You'll see it in a couple of seconds, okay?
Yeah. So taking into consideration all of the interactions involved in this symbiotic relationship of these two organisms, the appropriate term to assign is difficult. The fact states that the commensalism of these two aquatic creatures is one which incorporates beneficial as well as harmful factors, depending on the circumstance. It is this alteration of predator roles of Physalia and Nomius that creates a definitive difficulty. Perhaps the best term we can apply for the moment is that of the commensalism, given that both animals receive some benefit at varying times during the relationship.
So this is the conclusion, right? Last paragraph in an essay, conclusion. The conclusion usually captures the whole passage and kind of gives us an interesting thought. Now, what is this conclusion telling us, Ayadeji? So what's the last message of this author, according to this paragraph?
The conclusion is talking about actually intend to give a definite name, which is like a summary or a keyword for the relationship between interactions between the two organisms.
Exactly.
In the scenario, yeah, describing this above.
And,
okay. So so looking at the commensalism of the the marine habitats, which is the aquatic creatures. So it's looking at how they can how they interrelate with each other which incorporates beneficial as well as harmful factors depending on the circumstance. So
Exactly. That's exactly it. Ideji, that's exactly it. So just stop there because that's perfect. Okay. That's exactly it. So it's basically telling us that this is a complicated relationship. It's kind of like a husband and wife, right? We see Iadeji, we're closer to that marine biology than you can imagine. Sometimes we're nice to each other, sometimes we're not so nice to each other. Hopefully we're nice to each other more often than not. But it sounds like these two creatures are too. So it sounds like this Physalia nomius, they usually kind of are good with each other. They hang out with each other until the very end, at which time one definitely dies before the other one, and then one eats the other one.
yeah.
Kind of like husband and wife, but let's not go down that road. All right. So, but you know, making those connections again. Why am I saying that jokingly? And some people might be like, "How dare you? I love my wife. I love my wife too. She loves me." But I'd be lying if I say we never argued. Make the text interesting, become involved, even if you don't go into the ocean and you don't do scuba diving and snorkeling and you're not a big swimmer. It doesn't mean you have to think about the information as being far, far away. You can make those connections, and that will always help you to understand it and to answer the questions and to do a really good job and get a better band score. Okay, so Ideji, that was really good. I definitely recommend when you're doing your readings, I'd you read once or twice, and then after each paragraph, take a pen, take a piece of paper, and in 1 or 2 sentences, write down after each paragraph what you read. So in a simple way, and then read the paragraph again and go, okay, did I summarize that correctly? Is that what I was reading, or is it something else? If it's something else, then think, okay, why didn't I get the main point here? So what did I miss, right? So it's really, it's a really good practice to train your brain to quickly identify the key message of each paragraph. Okay,
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Ideji.
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
You're most welcome. Bye for now.
All right.
All right, that was Ideji. Carolina, I appreciate you for getting my joke, my Matrix joke with Neo and Smith. So like the Nomius dodges the deadly tentacles of the Physalia, so too does Neo dodge the bullets of Smith. I'm sure a couple of you picked up on that. All right. So let's solve a few of these questions. Let me see who else I have in here. Maybe we've got some more people wanting to join in. No, I don't know about that, but we've definitely still got a good number of students in here. Okay, anybody want to help me solve some of these answers? Let me just share the Zoom link again. Maybe some of you are thinking like, where are these guys? What are they doing? So we're using Zoom through YouTube, believe it or not, combining our technologies here. And there's the Zoom link. This is it, everyone. This is the Zoom link that we're using. You can volunteer in Zoom and you can answer some of these questions. And don't be shy. Don't be scared. I will help you. So we're working on this together. Okay. And then we'll go from there. Anahita's asking, isn't biting also a kind of attack? Yeah, sort of. Gita, thanks for joining our group of members. That's awesome. All right, a couple people joined up. Ankita and V. Okay. And let's see if either Ankita or V would like to volunteer for... yeah, V's into it. Let's check in with V. Hi, V.
Hi, Mr. Adrian. How are you?
I am doing great. V, are you into marine biology? Do you like fish and jellyfish?
Not at all.
Very honest. Not at all. A very honest answer. All right. Well, whether we like them or not, we have to be able to understand some information about them. You never know when you're going to be flying to a part of the world where there's a sign on the beach that says warning, jellyfish out there. All right, so V, let's do this. So we're going to do these complete sentences below. You should see number 27 coming up on this screen here pretty quick. Read the sentence and tell me what you think the word is that should go into the blank, okay?
The Portuguese men of war act as both as defense and attack mechanism. I think we can put a noun in here.
It's definitely a noun based on the sentence structure. And based on the reading, what do you think that is? So this is the jellyfish, right? So the Portuguese man of war something acts both as a defense and an attack mechanism. And some of your classmates, I'm sure, will help you and figure this out. But before you look into the chat, you should be able to get this one. The passage talks quite a bit about this. There's two different words. They mean the same. Either one could go in here. That's my hint.
The poison or
yeah, venom or poison. Very good. Absolutely. Okay. Now, just a really important tip, everybody. So V, this is not just for you. This is for everyone. In a perfect IELTS situation, in a perfect exam situation, you should not need to search for every single word, because that can be very difficult and that will take too long. People tell me, V, that I don't have enough time to read the passage, that's why I just do skimming and scanning, because there's not enough time to read it, which is really strange. It's completely wrong. There's absolutely enough time to read the passage. What you don't have enough time for is to search for every answer. That's what you don't have enough time for, is to try to search for every answer. That's when you run out of time, actually. If you read the passage and you can answer half of the questions being fairly confident, then you do have enough time. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like flawed logic. It's like bad logic to think you don't have enough time to read. So poison or venom, there are perfect. Okay, number 28.
Numerous has a daughter to the men of wars attacks.
What do you think goes in there? Nomius has a something to the man of war's attack.
Like something to defend.
Yeah, exactly. So good. So your brain is super smart, V, and not just V, but everybody out there. Your brains are quantum computers. Literally, they're quantum computers, and there's like we're ridiculously smart as humans. So when you have a thought, like you said, you said defense, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Nomius has a defense to the man of war's attack. You're absolutely in the right area, and I think maybe they might even give you a correct mark for that. They might give you a correct mark for that because it's so close. It's not, the author doesn't say defense. They use a little bit of a different word. Do you remember what that is? So when you have this kind of an idea like V just did, like I think it's a defense, but it's not a defense. It's they use some other word. And so what's the other word that the author uses besides defense?
The synonym for defense would be protection.
Protection, not bad. So maybe protection. It's not protection. I'll give you a hint. It starts with R. Now you could search for Nombius, but Nombius, the word shows up a lot, so it might take you a little bit of a time. And then man of war's attack, so you're better trying to figure it out on your own first. So it's not protection. It starts with an R. Resistance. That's right. It's resistance to the man of war's attack.
Resistance?
Yeah, and it's not has a resistant, because that's the wrong word form for the grammar. It's resistance, right? So Nomius has a resistance to the man of war's attack, and then it's correct. Yeah, so it's a little bit tricky, and obviously for some of these you might have to go back and look. But ideally, in a perfect exam situation, you're not looking for these two. 29, you should not be searching the text. Go ahead and try to read 29, and I think you can figure this one out quite easily. So go for it.
Nomius is also very competent which has keep it safe from the man of war. Very.
And Anahita said this a few times during the class. That's my hint. So 29, Nomius is a very competent, it's a very capable or able. What can this fish do really well? What do fish do really well? Students, the IELTS is... Yeah?
Get the predator.
What do fish do really well? Fish are really good at...
Swim.
That's swimming, right? Exactly. So Nomius is also a very competent... What's the noun form?
Swimmer.
Swimmer. That's exactly it. That's the correct answer. The very competent swimmer. So here's something important to remember. Even though a passage in the IELTS might look really challenging with lots of new vocabulary, in many situations, the answers to the questions in that passage are not going to be super difficult. So there's this really strange tip or trick that people say for IELTS where they say, oh, choose that new vocabulary. It's probably the answer. Definitely not. Okay, just because you see a strange word or a difficult word, it doesn't mean it's the answer to the question. You have to use your logic and your thinking, and for these it's often just a much simpler word. Like Nomius is also a very competent swimmer, which helps keep it safe from the man of war. Okay, so don't overcomplicate it. Okay, all right. V, thank you so much for volunteering to answer some of these questions and for working with me. I know it seems really challenging, but again, just stay calm, simple thoughts. Okay?
Yes, like this three answer, I could like predict the answer. So, and I got stung by one jelly before, like.
Yeah, and you know.
I got stung before, yeah, so I can guess the answer.
Absolutely. You should always depend on your brain first, not on the text, right? It's the most common mistake that I see in the IELTS exam is that students don't trust their brains. They just think about the text and they search, and then they run out of time and they get frustrated and they get upset, and it's just painful to watch that. So believe in your brain. Your brain has the answers. You just have to trust your brain. Okay, so thank you, V. I appreciate you for helping me explain that point.
Yes, thank you for having me. Bye, sir.
Bye, V. All right, so that was V. Very studious, very clever. Great job. Students, I've run out of time, and obviously we've got, some more questions here. Now, because this passage, takes a little bit of extra attention, what I recommend is that you finish these questions on your own, okay? Read the passage a couple of times. Use the audio. Again, all of this is coming from our website, aehelp.com. Yes, this is a passage that you could easily get in your academic IELTS exam. Join the premium version of our course by clicking the big red button. Get all of our practice tests. We don't like giving practice tests that are easier than the real exam because then students don't really get prepared. Now, after you answer these questions in your own time, you can send me the answers and I will give you the answer key. Okay, send me the answers to adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Once you send me the answers, then I will send you back the answer key and you can see, did I get these correct? Now, if you have access to the premium course, of course, you have the answer key at the back of the book. So you can check the answer key and you can check where those answers are coming from. Again, use the websites. We've got premium classes coming up for you on Saturday and, on Sundays. And from next week, it will be on Wednesday and Thursday. I will be back in 30 minutes with a listening class. Thank you so much, Carolina, for moderating. I appreciate all of the members, and welcome again, Geeta, our newer member. And hopefully I will see all of you in the next class for some listening. Again, that will be an interesting and challenging class focusing on listening parts 3 and part 4. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Canada, and I look forward to seeing you shortly. Bye for now, everybody.